on her iPhone, and
Yeah.
then she uploads it to YouTube, and then I download from YouTube and I put it in my project so that we have a nice quality video.
I actually have it on a little tripod. The Velcro, it just my computer screen is so light and my phone is like so heavy that like it kind of weighs it the other way or not. But I have it like right above my camera. And I always do a video check before. I sit here and I was like doing a little dance and I was like leaning forward and leaning back and making sure I was like hitting all the points that I normally would. A little morning camera check.
I know.
It was a rehearsal.
Well, I've done it all. I've recorded in slow motion. I've recorded with the lens facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that was so good. I'm so glad I got a good report. I'm like, oh, shit. I've done it all. But this is what happens. We do it all. Oh, yes. Okay. I wanted to share with you the importance of relationships and just to give you guys a little bit of a dose of get a factor this morning, because really what we're doing is we're going out. We want to have a lot of touch points with a lot of people that say, oh, I love her. So I got put on hold for a job in December for 7 through 9 and then the 14th with this company, Hungry Man. This particular director I did a freebie with, maybe it was like 7 years ago. And that got me on the radar working with that whole team. And I met a bunch of people, so that's how they met me. Since then, I've done like maybe 5 shoots in the last 7 years. That's because the regular mixer has been working with them for 10 years or more and works on with them every single week. They're a very busy company. And they work with Mike Riley, who is another mixer that when I started, you guys, he was so kind to let me come in and look at his cart and ask questions. Like, this was he's been mixing for like 30 years and he's such a nice guy. So he's still working with this company. And he's got a boom operator, his name is Ram, that he's been working with for the last couple of years. So they're really in with this company. Well, they checked my availability for the middle of December. Now I have another shoot that overlapped one of the days. This was a big Damien Chazelle shoot. Okay, the La La Land Oscar award-winning director. Overlapped one of the days. So when they checked my availability, I said, oh, I have an overlap on one of the days, but it could end up shifting or moving. And the other date, which was the second commercial, I'm completely free for. So let me know what you want me to do. Now, I get the email from the head of production. And what the head of production does for Hungry Man, which is this big production company, is she reaches out and puts people on hold and then passes along the information to the production team when the production team starts. So I wasn't hearing anything. And then I'm on a shoot with Ram, who's the boom operator for Mike Riley, and Ram also mixes. And Ram's like, yeah, I got a shoot coming up with Dave Ladden. I'm like, hey, that's the same shoot that I'm holding for. I'm like, we're both holding for the same. I'm like, when did they call you? He said, they just called me yesterday. I was like, oh, wow. Well, they called me last week. So that means that I don't know what that means. So I'm contacting the head of production who puts me on hold, and I ask him, hey, I'm holding for you guys on these days, and I'm working with Ram, who's booming for me, and he says he's also holding for these days. So I understand you have to go totally into their, it's not right that they called somebody else without checking with me first and releasing me or whatever. But, it's a business. They do what they want. They do what's in their best interest, and you got to understand. And plus, it's December, a very busy month. So they're just like put people on hold like crazy and then releasing them if they don't need them. Okay, it's a business, guys. It's good to know. So, I sent a very nice email saying, I know that it's busy, you probably have so many things going on. So the dates are shuffling. So just let me know what you want to do, happy face. So I'm totally like, I didn't say anything like you called me first and put me on hold and now you contact him or what the hell. None of that, guys. I'm just like, whatever you want to do, totally fine. Busy month. You cannot force anything to go your way anyway. You just can't. So I get an email back from her, not on that day. I think that was on Friday. So like 3 days later, I get an email back from her. I'm like, when are they gonna respond? So also this is also how the business could be. And she's like, okay, I passed along your information to the production team, so they'll get back in touch with you. Now this was 2 jobs, okay, that they had me holding for. Production team responds back, I don't know these people. Okay, I've never worked with them. They don't know me. They got no relationship with me. But they know Ram. And they're like, thanks, Janet, for holding. You're released. That's it, pretty much. I'm like, okay, great. Well, what about the second date? Okay, that's that first shoot. That was the overlap. But what about the second date? And they still haven't responded. No, it's been like 2 days. So I'm like, okay, well, they're so busy with COVID. I understand what's going on over there. You know, they've got probably Ram holding for the whole thing now, and they don't need me, and they've totally forgot. They saw it, they forgot. They were like, I don't have time to check. They just forgot. And it can be like this, especially now in these COVID times when it's so busy, and I don't have the relationship. Ram's got the relationship. Now, Ram is much less experienced than me. He's got like 25% of the gear that I have. He's a hell of a nice guy. And he works with them consistently with Mike. And they know him. And they have lunch with him. And they joke with him. And they've been working with Ram for years. And they love to see Ram move up as a mixer. They love it. Okay, lots of lessons here. They don't know me. I'm much more experienced. I've also done a freebie for Dave Ladden, so they should hire me because of that. But Ram has done many freebies for Dave Ladden as well. Okay? So he's going to get the job, and he's much less experienced, and they called me first. And that's fine. I will be working with somebody else. So it's so valuable for you guys to know that it's relationships, it's recency of relationships. It doesn't matter the experience. It doesn't matter how much equipment. It doesn't matter what you know. What matters is, oh, we work with him. Dave loves him. He can do the job. They don't even know that he's much less experienced than me. They don't know. They don't care. That's good for you to know. It's a great lesson for you to know. They don't care. If they think that they like you, that you can do the job, they're going to hire you. Okay? So it's a great lesson. I love for you to see, oh wow, even Janet gets kind of jerked around sometimes. It's not really jerked around, it's just the business. It's just the way a bunch of people, a whole bunch of shoots, a bunch of people doing the best they can with production.
Yeah. And they want to make sure that you're a good fit with everybody else. Like, I know a bunch of PAs that went for the job that I went for that have more, qualifications than I do. But like, at least in my experience, like the ADs, they pick people that they can tell will work together as a team and like gel with, not to say that you wouldn't gel with that, but that's also like another factor.
It's not, that in this situation, it's not a factor. I mean, they know me, they know my name, I'm on the list, so it's like, yeah, she's good. It's just that I wasn't available for one of the days, so therefore,
gotcha.
She's not available.
Yeah, then you have to find somebody to replace you, and they'd rather just go with somebody who can commit for the whole time.
It's so busy right now that they're just like, let's get somebody that's available for all the days.
Yep, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, so good, right? A good lesson for all of you guys, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Any questions about that? Any impressions on that, Jaron? Anything on that? Just because, Fernando, just because I know that you guys are right in that zone where you're getting a lot of, these kind of situations happening. They're like, oh yeah, that could happen next month,
Being referred, I mean, I only had a couple of incidents, situations that way, which is pretty nice. But yeah, you have to just do the work, have that energy when you're on set, and make sure, like, a lot of the stuff that I learned from my previous job, I try to implement for the new job. So stuff that I've learned, and especially when it comes to preparation. So there's some things that someone would ask for, and I didn't have it at that time, but I put like a note to say next time have that available, and then so for the next one, just so happened they ask for it, you're there, you get and you can give it to them.
Yeah.
And then because I was doing that stuff, that's where a lot of the referrals came into play, because they saw how prepared I was all the time. But yeah, those are little things that you probably can do to get more referrals, and people like preparation, people like your energy, the vibe of you, and when you talk about being part of the crew, they want to make sure that for sure that you can gel with everybody. So having that energy is definitely a plus to have too. So not luckily for me, it's kind of natural because I'm just very focused that way. But I know for many people, you have to put that into practice. So you just got to keep learning. Every time you're on set, you're gonna learn something. So, but the good thing is to take notes and then move on with it. Move forward with it. Yeah. Sorry, I think I'm rambling right now because I was put on the spot.
Yeah. You didn't expect to get called out, but we just love to listen to you, so it doesn't really matter. We're all like,
I don't even know if I was on the right topic.
No, you're great. It's great. It's just encouraging to know that with every shoot, you're getting more confident. You're learning how the set works. You're learning what the job is. You're becoming more prepared so that next time, you're building something. You can't know everything when you're starting, and you actually to know it, you got to do it. That's the thing about this business. So, what he's describing is the pathway to growth inside a niche.
Even the PA bag thing, I'm always rebuilding that. Every shoot, I'm rebuilding that, adding more things to that. I think there's some stuff though that I add into my bag that I don't know necessarily a typical PA would put in their bag.
Oh yeah,
just because of my background. So I have like HDMI cables. I have like small adapters, AV adapters, and things like that I keep. Is only because of my previous work before I started freelancing, where I know those things eventually can be helpful in terms of camera or with sound. I have like extra like XLR cables just in case. So there's little things like that I keep with myself that I don't think a typical PA would. But it's been helpful so far. So
yeah, I find that just as a professional, that would be like, if I heard that you had XLR cables in your backpack, I would be like, or saw that, I'd be like, aw, that is so cool that that organized and cares that much.
I also have another hot tip, especially because like in New York, a lot of the apartments that people shoot at are old, and they'll only have the 2-prong outlets, and then this is a converter to 3. So this is also like, I have a bunch of these. I use them all the time in my apartment too, just because some of the extension cords I have are only 2. So this is like
those are good too to have for sound, because those are ground lifts. So
ground lifters.
Yeah,
I'm just like a converter thingy with the prongs.
That term, guys. Remember that term, so that if somebody says, "Oh, we need to lift the ground. We need a ground lifter," that's what that is.
That'll be it. Sometimes the audio, you'll get like interference through signal. So using a ground lift can kind of help with that too. So you're prepared there too. But yeah, those are little things that I try to keep with me. I kind of learned from that from I think my 3rd gig with Kai. She was like an award-winning documentarian, and but surprisingly, for someone who was award-winning, she didn't have a lot of things. So all the gear that I did have, like she was like so thankful because she's like, man, I need this, I need that, and I had it in my bag, and then before I know it, I was helping her with sound, and then helping her with her and the DP with camera and stuff like that, because they needed a lot of help, and there was only like 3 of us, so I kind of had to jump in, and preparation, that's all I can say.
Yes, you guys don't need to add XLR cables to your backpacks. You know, it's really the entire list is there in the modules. But Javin is doing sound work, and he also comes from a heavy audiovisual background. So whatever background you have that you feel like, you know, when you get on some sets, you're going to see, oh, what do people need? That's where you should look at adding that. You know, so you don't have to add an XLR cable. It's just that's just an example of trying to be even more helpful, and that's what makes everybody go, oh. So you don't have to do what he does, but you can just be looking at what you would bring to it.
What I try not to do though is, even though I know I have that stuff and or even some skill sets, I try not to be overly helpful. Because there's situations that I see that I know that I could definitely resolve the situation that they're trying to figure out. But I find that, like, if I bring up gear, I says, oh, I can grab it from this if you need it or that. Some of them tend to not want to do that. They're like, nah, we're good, we'll figure it out, whatever. But if you keep pushing, like, no, I can really help, that can kind of get annoying. So for me, I kind of like just throw out the question once. If they say they're good, then I just kind of step back. But there was a couple of times where I kind of was like, I really know how to do it. I can do it in 5 minutes, kind of thing. Yeah. But I had to learn to kind of step back from that.
Yeah. You're like, if you need it, I got it, and that's enough. And now there's working on it. So don't keep going like, hey, I can really do it. Yeah, you need to listen to what they say.
It was a little bit difficult just because what they're doing, like, I know literally I could fix it in like a few seconds. So it's so a part of my ego, I think, is talking at that moment.
Exactly. we all know that. We know that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, but I want to actually stream to our Facebook group because this is fun. I forgot to do that. I haven't done this for a while. Streaming. I'm gonna do that. Preparing. No, I'm on. Just bear with me, guys. It's taking a while. Gotta put the title in. Today. A list call. Boom. Go add a description. Okay. Description. Amazing discussions.
Nice. Hook them in there.
It's amazing. Well, it's kind of nice for people to see. This is what they do because they're like, I should really do that program. I should do that program. And it's like, but what are they even doing? It's like, you know, and then they okay, these are real film discussions. People really working in the business. This is good. Okay, Jay says, can you two talk about how you landed your first free gigs? What, you know, so talk about, since they're in the modules, you know, Magic List, Get on Shoots method, or anything in addition to that, you know, made a difference.
I was just looking through my old resumes to like figure out which my first couple ones were.
I have to say that for me, I honestly didn't start with a free gig. My first job was paid, but part of it is just because of my background. That's all I can say in terms of getting my first gig as a PA. Though if you're someone that doesn't have my background, a 14-year background, then I would say to get on free shoots, it, for me, okay, so for how I started was doing a lot of short films. I did a lot of short films, helped a lot of people doing that.
Using the get on shoots method.
Using the get on shoots method. I for myself, because I went to film school, that was also my way in to kind of help a lot of people with that. So some of those experiences I still used to put on my resume when I first started, just to show people that I actually been on set before, even though those experiences was like a few years back. And also I put in some of my old projects that I've done personally, like my documentary short, some of my videography work that I did while I was still working in my old career and things like that. So the way that you put together your resume kind of matters, and picking and choosing the right kind of gigs that you've done to really make yourself shine. But also simplicity. And that's the part with you, Janet, that I had to learn a lot of with the resumes. And
yeah, your resume
was
was
really
trying
detailed.
to convince.
I don't know if you
so
remember.
much. Oh yeah, I remember everything.
Yeah, it was very it was very
detailed. But it was just way too. He's like, we didn't know how to hire him. It's like, jack of all trades, works in audiovisual, but has he worked on a set, and how could I hire him? Yeah, you don't want to make them connect the dots. You want to be like, the resume for Get It Factor needs to be exactly what they're looking for. Production assistant with production assistant experience. So they're like, okay, that's good. And he's a good one because he's done these kind of films, and he knows lighting, he knows videography, he's shot stuff, and you put that down at the bottom. But he built that resume from the module 4, okay, and as well as
our conversations
together on this, conversations on these live calls. But here's the thing too. Jaron's in a market where, and it's Phoenix, where people are coming into that market and looking for good people. So they're going on Staff Me Up. They're looking for people. So resume is very important. In LA, everybody's it's really like, everybody's all around, so it's like you're going to get referred into a PA job more. That they're not looking like, oh, everybody's sending resumes and we'll pick the best one. They're going, oh, my roommate's really great, he works with these companies and this company, so if they need an extra person, they're going to go with the roommate, they're going to go with a friend, they're going to go with somebody they worked with on its set. So they're going to ask who's good. It's very word of mouth in LA. Smaller markets, they will how the work comes in is through people from LA and New York City. So resume is real important. So he's got a great one.
Yeah, I put a lot of effort into that, and then
well, you have to. You guys all have to put a lot of effort into your resume. It's not really. It can be how you get work, but you have to have a good one, whether or not it's that situation when you're in a minor market or you're in a big market. You still have to have a good one, because they will say, hey, can you send over, when they're hiring you, they can say, hey, can you send over your resume at any moment? So you have to just keep it updated. Like Rooney's resume is like, they've got stuff that they've constantly updating the resume.
Yeah, and for me too, like with the resume, I have to use that as my calling card to get on a shoot, because I'm still at a phase right now where I still have to introduce myself to other productions as they're coming in, and in order for me to get hired by them, the resume is sort of my calling card and my introduction of myself, so they want to hire me. But then once you get on set and they do want to hire you, that's when you really play the game and show what you got. And showing your personality, showing that you're a go-getter, being that you're prepared in the best way that you can, all those things. That's the part where you want to be in. But if you don't put in the work with the resume to start off, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get on set. I mean, at least for me, because I got referred a couple times, but I have to keep the momentum still going. I still don't feel like now everything's working where I don't have to do much and I'm always going to get referred kind of thing.
Oh yeah, right.
So
It'll be a
I'm-
while for that, and plus
Exactly.
you're in Phoenix.
Plus, I'm in Phoenix, but I've been blessed to have done a lot of the work that I have this year, so that for next year, yeah,
You're becoming known in your market as a really good person.
No, but I just want to.
Your internet is slowing down. It could be your computer's overheating again.
Is everyone frozen?
No, you. You're frozen.
Sorry, I think everyone froze for like.
Yeah, no, you froze.
Oh, did I freeze?
You're the one
Yeah, I
freezing.
think I froze.
No.
On my side.
Yes. Okay. So when you say you got to have a good resume. Well, how do you get the good resume? Is by doing Get on Shoots method, guys. Just
Get on
do that.
Shoots.
Get on Shoots. I don't care what kind of shoot it is. It can be a little tiny interview, music video. The Get on Shoots method just has you constantly reaching out, finding shoots, and getting on them to add a little bit more to your resume and add more people to your resume. And you're going to meet people there on this Get on Shoots method that will pull you in, other PAs that are on these shoots that will pull you into a professional shoot, or it could be a production designer that's helping out. They see you're working there. Oh, you're great, and people want to pay you back because of reciprocity, and they pull you into professional shoots, and it adds to your resume. So it does many things.
Even the short films and stuff are great too.
And short films are great too. So, but Get on Shoots, I just find a lot of people know about it, but not doing it. Not really doing it every day, looking for shoots that they can work on. Now, if you're looking for production assistant work, like I'm looking for postings for production assistants, is that right or wrong for doing the Get on Shoots method? Scott's got it. He says wrong. That's right. That's wrong. Yeah, you're looking for any indication of a shoot happening. And then you offer to work with them as a production assistant. I'm going to have to delete this off of Facebook because we're not giving away our secrets. That's okay. People that are there now can see it. But yes, any indication of a shoot happening, and then you send them your want to work email. And then you're one of the good ones. The email's super concise, doesn't try to convince, just like, this is what I can do for you. And then they hire you, you work on the thing, you got one shoot. Get 10 shoots for free, maybe 15 shoots for free. You know what you're doing. You will have that confidence now to reach out to people on your magic list. Hey, I work with this company, I worked on music video, I've done this, done that. Reach out to people on your magic list. All the people that are in your area, and have them know who you are. You'll have the confidence to do that for sure by 15 shoots. Another thing that you can do in Module 6 is background and PA method. Get on those big sets as background and tell them, hey, I also PA. We've talked about that too. So it's really Magic List, just so everybody knows, is no big mystery. Magic List to research the crap out of everything going on in your market, so that you know all the people, all the companies, you know what they do. That will allow you to talk about things and be one of the people on set that knows everything. You know, that's really good. Like, oh, I heard of that company. I know that director. They did this. Oh, yeah, that DP also does this kind of work. Oh, yeah, because you've researched them. Really important. Nobody does that. Okay, you guys, did you research your Magic List? Yeah, you did your Magic List. I already know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Stacey's looking in the chat. She's like, I'm focused on the chat. I know. It's okay.
Your cell phone kind of in a way is your magic list too.
Your cell phone?
Yeah, the reason I say that is because like a lot of the gigs that I've done, like I was able, kept contact information on your phone. So a lot of the people I've worked with, I still have them in my contacts. And then you can transfer that over into your magic list, so you can always have it there too. But sometimes I'll send a text to a couple people that I became friends with on set, and just say, hey, how you're doing, kind of thing, and keep that connection as you're, even if you're not working with them on any gigs or anything like that, at least you can keep a connection with them, and you are keeping them um, in their mind too, you know, as like sort of like a reminder. So that's how I kind of got on a couple other gigs of being referred. So
Yeah, absolutely. Follow up, extremely important because people forget about you. They're hiring off of the last call sheet, and if you haven't been on it, then they're like they just forget. Oh, there's this great guy, I can't remember, and then they try to think and then forget it. They just, and you know, you might have had great discussions with them and really hit it off, you guys, and you might be in their phones, but they can't remember. Then so it's really important to follow up with people. Hey, how are you doing? What have you been working on? I just came off of this. Just a text like that is perfect, or an email is just fine. Was your email somewhat like that? Something like that? Your text, was it like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been probably texting more than I have using
That's
the
fine.
email.
Yeah, yes.
But I know I could do that just because when I was working with them and as a relationship that we were comfortable enough to do that. But if it's someone that is an acquaintance that you know them, but you're not like besties or anything, probably email would probably be better to do. And I've done that too, but so far a lot of the guys that I've worked with, like we all act like we've been best friends for like 20 years or something.
Awesome.
So texting it wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, you'll know. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that if you don't know or if you feel like, okay, texting is maybe a little bit too personal, then email for sure, because that's non-intrusive. They see it and they have the option then to respond or not. With texting, if you're feeling compelled to respond, and if they're on a shoot in the middle of something and they get the text, they're like, oh, okay, I gotta respond, and, you know. Then
People also just check their texts more frequently than their emails.
People check their texts more frequently. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you have a close relationship, then definitely text. Otherwise, if you're, checking in with a producer, then you would probably email. So, hey, how you doing? I worked with you a month ago on this shoot. Thought I would check in with you. Happy face. Let me know if you need me. And that would be all the email would say. Let me know if you need me. Hope you're doing well. Stay safe. And then your name. That's why the picture is important, so that they can remember what you look like and just remember those good feelings. Oh yeah, I liked that guy. Well, people are just, they're busy. They are, with the COVID situation now, everybody is totally overworked.
Oh yeah.
Stacy, Rooney, give us some, what do you say in text to people?
Like pertaining to what? Like just
just checking in, digging up work, whatever.
Oh yeah. If it's somebody that there's like so many different scenarios, because it's like, how long have I known them? Have I worked with them? Is this like a cold text? Like, in any way.
Give us one. Okay, let's just take one. You work with them a lot.
Great. I'd be like, what up, yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
No, but literally I would just be like,
yeah. Put your personality in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hey, how's it going? Like, what have you been working on? I'll do a little bit of catching up, if I can tell that they're available and have a little bit of time. Like, kind of, in the concern of, like, I'm better off getting a chance at, like, getting a job if I'm nice to them first and I'm not just demanding, like, hey, get me work. People don't like to hear that. People like to be considered that they're people too, and if you like them and you've worked with them and you're considering getting work from them, like, it shouldn't even be that you're playing a game. Like, you should genuinely want to know how this person has been and what they've been up to. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of chit chat, catching up first, and then maybe compliment them on their work and like, oh, that's so awesome, like, I love that show, or I haven't heard of that show, like, I hope it's cool, I hope your ADs are being nice to you, or blah blah blah. And like let me know if you need an additional, or if you need additional help. Like, I'm available. Like, let me know if you need additional help any day. I'm pretty much available all the time. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And they'll be like, oh yeah, great. Like, I know we have some, even if they're not the key PA and they can't technically hire you, then they'll be like, oh yeah, great. Like, I'll pass your number to the AD, to the, an AD or the key PA.
And who should you reach out to? Anybody. It can be other production systems that can refer you. It can be second ADs. It can be the key PA. It can be the production supervisor.
Yeah.
It can be the coordinator. Anybody.
And also, like, if you know that one person, and again, if you have like a somewhat good relationship with them and you feel comfortable enough, you can be like, hey, like, would you mind would you possibly be down to send me the key PA's number? And then you can talk to the key PA, and like, it's a better way to like state why you deserve to be on that shoot. You kind of have to pitch yourself and have like a little bit of a quick interview in some sort of senses, where you just like kind of rattle off your qualifications and be like, I can send you a resume if you'd like I recently worked on this, or I've worked on that. My cat, she's being so funny today.
There's something on the wall for sure.
Yeah, there's a thumbtack, but before she was chasing her own tail, and it was, oh God, it was making me laugh so hard. Yeah,
very active kitty. Okay, so let's take a scenario where you're looking for work.
Sorry, we'll be better now.
Sure, because this is good stuff. Let's take a scenario where you're looking for work and you're texting somebody that is working on a show, and you're asking if you can talk to the person that's going to be hiring you to day play or as an additional production assistant.
Yeah.
So how you're going to word it is, go ahead.
If it's a new person, right?
Yeah, you're talking to somebody that you know, but you need them to give you the information.
I got it.
The person that's actually going to hire you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Say the last part again. Am I texting the key PA now?
But somebody that you don't know.
Somebody that I don't know, right?
You
okay.
got the key PA's information from somebody that you do know, right? That was the scenario that you just brought up, right?
Yeah. So in that case, I'd be like, to that new number, be like, hey, name. I got your number from name of your friend. We worked together on name of that. I'm sure you might be in the middle of a busy day. I'd love to get a chance to have, I'd love to be able to talk to you about my qualifications, and if you needed additional help. Like, if you need additional help, I'm available. Love to chat about it. Give me a call or text when you're free. And obviously, like, that's kind of just like the skeleton of what should be in the text message. Like, this person might not know you, but you can still be yourself. You don't have to be a robot. I would just say be yourself in a few sentences and not long paragraphs. Because if they're busy, they're not going to want to read a long text message. They're just gonna want to hear, like, that you got their number from somebody that they know, that you've worked on something, and that the intention of your text. That's a way that you can do it in 3 sentences.
Yeah. So the first thing is, say it again.
The first thing is how you got their number. Obviously your name in that too. And they know the other person, so how you know the other person. Like, hey, I got your number from Jimmy. I worked with Jimmy on this and this. Like, we had a great time. I was wondering if you had any big days coming up and you'd need additional work. Love to have a chat with you when you're available. Feel free to give me a call or text me.
Perfect, guys. See how simple that is? It's not like selling yourself.
Really quickly, a few sentences. You don't want to waste their time. You don't want to create that bad first impression. And like, I know that texting is so easy, and like, especially if I'm on my laptop and I'm typing a text, and the next thing I know, it's like this long, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But all you have to do is just, think of it as if somebody were texting you at the busiest part of your day, no matter what your job is. Like, think about it like that. Like, as a key PA or as somebody in film, like, you're constantly busy. So, to get a long-winded text message, I'd be like, ugh, and I'd put it away, and I'd get so many other texts during the day for work that won't, it'll be gone before the time that I realize that was even a thing. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I have a lot of, like, group threads for work. So, and like, between that and personal text messages, like, it'll get lost. And if I've never read it, then sorry, like, but sorry, going on with that, then it's your responsibility to, like, it's not just one text, and if you don't hear back from them, you're doomed forever. Like, it happened to me where I was persistent in texting somebody, and eventually I got a job from them, and those were big jobs that I was landing. So, like, if you catch them at the right time, like, that might not be the right time that one day, but, like, don't you dare give up. Like, that, just, if you don't get an answer one time from one text message you send, like, you're not putting in the work, so the work won't come back to you. It's about the persistence.
I think that it's also best to, if you don't hear anything in terms of a text, then go ahead and just send an email just as a just in case kind of thing. Or is that too much?
Not really, but I know that, like, at least the way that my inbox is, I get so many emails from, like, all the things that I've ever bought anything from. Like, if I don't check my emails in a day, I have like 200 emails, and like half of them, more than half of them, are like BS stuff. Like, and sometimes it will kind of stand out if I have just like a name and a catchy subject that's like, I don't know, hey, I was the one that texted you, or like, hey, I got your number from first name and last name of somebody, because if they see the first and last name, like, whatever, we'll go with Jimmy, like, what's a fake last name I can use? Like, Jimmy Chapstick. Like, hey, I got your number from Jimmy Chapstick, like, blah, 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 blah. My cat is going crazy. But also, like, don't make that email too long. Like, they are probably home from a really long day that they've had, and, like, the last thing they want to do is read a huge email. And hopefully, like, you just continuing to push yourself onto them and you're trying to get on their radar. And then the one day that they'll, maybe they talk to you and hear your qualifications, and that's awesome. You get a phone call, you give them a phone call, the timing works out, you talk to them, and they're like, oh, you sound great. You sound like somebody I could definitely work with. Like, and, like, you can even say in it, like, I'm a little new, but I'd love to help out. You don't want to ever lie to them about your experience. You don't want to go in and be like, oh, I'm incredibly experienced and I know everything about everything, like, because it'll show, and then you've lied.
About this? A lot of people make the mistake, like, oh, well, I've produced 5 of my own shorts, and I directed all these things.
No.
Like, can you hire me? They're like,
you can maybe push that for, like, a student film or, like, a smaller indie shoot, like, literally like a backyard shoot, which is not discrediting them at all, but in those kind of situations, they want somebody who can wear a lot of hats. Like, in this case, if you're going for something that's like big time TV shows, like, sorry, but they don't care about your passion projects. Like, they just want to know that you can show up on time, that you're down for a long day, and that you're a hard worker.
Yep, there we go. Nailed it. Delay there. Coming through your speaker.
I'm gonna it's the heat. I'll turn it off. It's so loud.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's okay. I want to have Stace or Rooney. I want you to, again, because you went through it really quick, but I think it's really great how you asked for the name of somebody that that could hire you. You said, are you down? Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
What you've been working on? You're on this show. I actually have some free. This is back and forth. Oh yeah, I'm working with this person. Oh, who's your key PA or who's your second AD? Are you down to share their information?
Yeah, or I mean,
That
you know,
was
if
a
it's a little bit more on a professional level, you'd just be like, how can I get in contact with such and such person? They'll usually give you an email based on that, because giving out personal numbers is, you know, it's borderline depending on how well they know you. But hey, if you get an email, that's a shot, you know, and you just do as I said before, where you're, you know, sending them an email that's short and concise, like, you know, keep it, what's that kiss, like, keep it simple, stupid, like,
Yeah.
just keep it as simple as possible, but also, like, you're talking yourself up, basically, but you have to do it in as few words as possible. And that's why, like, when I started, my want to work emails were, like, pretty long. And, like, it makes sense why I didn't get jobs, because, like, you need to get them, like, the first couple sentences to continue to read on.
Want to work emails are very short, aren't they?
Yeah, short, to the point, like, articulate, like, it's not overly wordy.
Yeah.
It's very simple, like,
yeah.
Hi,
That's
I'm
how
this
you can
person. I've done, like, what would I say now? Like if you've gotten somebody else's contact from someone, like, hey, my name is blah. I got your number from Jimmy Chapstick. I worked with them on blah, blah, blah. I'm available now. I was wondering if you needed any positions filled. I've attached my resume. Like, thank you for your consideration. Feel free to give me a call.
Very good cold referral email, but referred from somebody else. So yeah,
it's important to shout the person out, because then, like, that will then get you in that kind of chain reaction where you never know if that person is going to need work later on, and then because they've helped you, you want to help them. And that's kind of how this, like, there's no competition in the PA world, at least where I'm coming from. It's all like, oh, how can I help people? Like, oh, this person's referred me for a job, so if they come to me looking for a job, I'm going to do the best I can, you know? Or if anything, get them on my show and, like, be, like, to my key PA, like, oh, hey, I see, because I get the schedule, so I'd be like, oh, hey, I see that we have a big day coming up, wondering what the manpower is, which is, like, an awful word, like, human power? I don't know. I'm wondering how many additional PAs you're going to need for this day. Let me know if you're having trouble finding PAs, and I'll talk to some of my people. I do that all the time.
Being helpful.
Yeah, I want to help my friends out, or, you know, even people who I see, like, that. This is why, again, like, whenever you're on set, like, just show up and do the best job that you can do, because, again, like, you never know who's watching you, and that's been true to me since I started. You know, I was on, like, that freebie shoot, and then the sound guy was like, we got along, and he brought me onto a job where I made money. Even though sound isn't my niche, like, at the time, it was great to network and do something to make some money, because I was like working at restaurants, and I wasn't working every day, and I was just doing these freebie shoots on the weekends, and it's like, like, the hustle is exhausting, but it's worth it if you keep doing it. So, like, just show up and act as if everybody who's on set can hire you at some point, and get people's numbers, and just, that's your networking. These are your magic list people. And like Jaren was saying, like, your magic list is on your phone, basically. And there's, like, the handy way of, you know, like, I put a movie camera after people's names, so that if I just type the emoji movie camera, then I have, like, all of my film people, and then
I come up.
What's that? Yeah, they
Yeah,
all
they
come
come up.
up, and then like in the company name, I'll put like PA and then the show that I've worked on them with. That way it's easy because sometimes I see people's names and I'm like, what did I work with them on? Because it's hard, after a lot, like it's just easier. It's like it's an
Blurs together.
automated thing. It's like one less thing I have to use my brain power on so that I can like use that brain power on something else. It's the automation.
So you put what you worked with them on in the notes.
Yeah, so then, in the case that they text me and I'm like, oh, what did we work on again? Like, it's right there. Or if I'm referring them or if they're referring me, like, it's just a good way to keep. And then that also keeps your contacts organized where, like, now I can just type in PA and, like, so many people come up. So when the key, like, this happened on my last job, the key PA would be like, hey, I need, like, 2 PAs. I'm having trouble finding somebody. Can you help me find people? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I just type in PA in my contacts and just, like, a bunch of people come up. But, I'd say now is like such a good chance to like just push hard and work because I think a lot of like smaller stuff is getting made right now and that can get you hooked up with somebody that's in a bigger network. And I can at least say that when I was going through my contacts and looking for production assistants, a lot of people have moved away. Like my good fleet of New York PAs they're gone. Like they're in other
because of COVID, guys.
Yeah, because of COVID, like
people have gone home to just be like, well, I'm just gonna go home
away from the city, or they've been like realized that the New York life is not for them and have moved elsewhere. So like I can say now that like I'm on the lookout for my new PA crew. So, there on my last job, we have COVID officers now, which is also another job that you can go for and get on set and meet people. Because, like, the COVID is a totally new department. And you're not expected to know everything. But, like, if you come to work and you show up and you do a good job, like, there was a COVID PA on my last job that I was like, you are awesome. I want to help you. So we, like, exchanged numbers and, like, I'm going to do my best to get them some work when it happens and like let the person know that we call it green PAs, but that's not really a bad thing. Like it's just showing the status of where you are. Like you're new, you're green PA. I'd be like, they're a green PA, but they're awesome. Might need a little direction and help, but they're really hungry and they want to be in this industry. And that's it. Like, that's as far as I could go and help them.
CCO is COVID compliance officer. Yes. Okay. So let me just paint the picture for people that are new, that are like, but this conversation about networking, it's all just so like,
yeah, sorry, I can.
That part. No, it's good. It's really good. It's just that we have some people that are right where you're at. Like Jaren's right where you're at. Lily's right where you're at. Fernando is getting there. We got people right where you're at. Then people are like, but I haven't even gotten on hardly any sets and my resume has nothing on it yet. So this is like actually makes me feel like I'm, like this is like such a big deal what you're talking about. Like I got to hustle and work so hard where you guys, this is, let me just tell you right now, I want to make myself big in the thing. Okay, so I'm going to cancel the spotlight. I'm going to make you big. I want to get bigger here. Yeah. So, all of this, guys, all of this is not a big deal. Just a whole bunch of shoots happening. Get on people's radar. Do good work and work. It's so simple. It's really not a big deal. You guys are all making it a lot bigger in your heads than it actually is. You're putting these people up on pedestals, like this person that you're reaching out to that maybe is not responding. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're putting them up on a pedestal because they're not responding and you want something And it's like, you think that it's like such a big deal, like, oh my gosh, they're gonna get pissed off or whatever. They're just people that are working
Busy.
and they're super busy, and you are supposed to keep reaching out to them.
Yeah.
So that if you didn't, then you would not be a good one. If you do, then you're a good one.
I also think, just to interject on that, I had another thought. Like, don't copy and paste the same email or text message. That's like just proof that you are a robot. Like, it should be when you're contacting somebody for a second time, if you haven't heard anything, switch up the language, try something new. Like, I just don't think it's like, I don't think it's helpful to send the same thing, like to copy and paste the same text that you've sent before that didn't get a response. Like, it's not.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm a person, like you said earlier.
Yeah,
don't be a robot. So I feel like you're just fishing for work. Even though I understand it as somebody receiving the email, even though I understand that you're fishing for work, I still am looking for some kind of like personal response. Hey Janet, how you doing? We work together on this thing. Just reaching out to you, just reaching out to see if you have anything coming up. I got next week free. That's perfect. And now, if you email me again, maybe you didn't hear back, email me again. Hey Janet, what's going on? Next week is free. Change it up, because you're talking to me, not cut and paste. And you got 100 more of these things to do. There will be a point in time where the work just comes to you.
Yep.
But for everybody in the film industry, you just have to keep in touch with people. And it's just as exhausting to get in that pattern as it is to be in a 9-to-5 that you have no idea what to do now because you're in, just keep spending time in 9-to-5. That's way more exhausting than it is to just reach out to people and just say, hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Hey, who can I talk to today? The fear is what stops you from doing it.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, if you never do it, you won't get any better at it. And
you won't even get in the business.
Yeah, like, I can guarantee that at some point, like, you will fail, but that is where you have the opportunity to grow, where you're like, I'm defeated, I'm never gonna do this again because I'm embarrassed and this hurts my self-esteem, or are you gonna, like, step up to the plate and keep trying to do the thing that you love,
I don't know what would ever constitute a failure.
In some people's, when that negative self is talking and you're like, because I've done that before with myself too. I'm just like, I'm a failure. Like, I will never break into this. Like, that's such the negative self-talk that, like, it happens sometimes. Like, we're only human. And, like, I know for myself, like, I beat myself up. Like, I used to a lot more when things were a little tougher, but I didn't let that stop me. I knew that what I wanted to do, and I kept pushing towards it.
Yeah. Usually when we get into like negative self-talk really crops up when we're not doing anything. Yeah. Or you did like one thing or two things, you sent out a couple emails, but nothing's happening. Come to these calls is a huge part of it. And also realize where we're at. I mean, we have just been through a freaking COVID year. I mean, it's a crazy difficult year. And also a opportunity year. It's really something that you've all lived through. So give yourself some credit and some love. Okay? Seriously.
Yeah.
It's quite a freak, if you're like, oh my God, I keep beating myself up, I suck, and I keep not doing stuff, and I keep being so scared, and I'm so fearful, especially compared to these people.
Yeah.
First of all those thoughts is just your mind, and
you're not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts.
How you know that? Because you can observe your thoughts. Oh, I just had that thought again. Okay, yeah. So you're not your thoughts. And
and self-care, like self-care, like if you find yourself in, like somebody just mentioned in the chat, like meditation is something that I do, or like I do yoga, or I move around, I dance, I do like stretches and stuff, and like that for me just opens up a different, like, just breathing, you know, like getting into a breathing pattern and doing something to like help you love yourself. And I do that when I get in, sometimes I get in a mood where I literally sit on this couch and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I feel awful. Like, I feel so defeated right now and blah, like, but that's, you know, I'll let myself sit in that for like 5 minutes and then I'll be like, all right, I have to move around. Like, and that's what I have to do to take care of myself, or I need to journal about it. And everybody's going to have their different, you know, thing that works for them. So like, make sure you're trying to find that too, because that is something that like, that's grown for me, and I've gotten better at like taking care of myself in that manner, that like that then replenishes me with energy and positivity. And that's like, I know that I need to do that for myself, and I don't think I'm alone in saying that. Like, you know, you're not, I like love to remind people that like, you're not alone. Like, you're not alone with those negative thoughts. You are also not alone in like where you are with your struggle. Like, it's painful to say, but like, you're not unique in your problems. Like, but that also unifies us. And like, if for me, that puts it into perspective of like, when I'm looking up to somebody and I'm texting them for work, I'm like, I hope they help me out, because I hope they remember when they were in that position, because I know they've been in that position. And that kind of helps break it down a little bit and remind me that whoever I'm texting, and I might be so nervous and texting them in a way or emailing them in a way that's like very, I don't know if you're gonna be able to help me, but like, no, they're people. They've been exactly where I have been at some point, and hopefully my confidence will spark something in them, and they'll want to meet me or work with me, or, you know, it's self-love.
And they do, because you
Self-care.
have so many people contacting you, overlapping jobs all the frickin' time. You're overbooked. You're too booked. Right? You're turning down work.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great problem to have, but it also causes like stress, because I don't know sometimes it's hard for me to determine what the best, like, what the next right step is for me, or what's the best step that I can take in, you know, in my career.
Well, yeah, you get so busy working all the time, but you have to drive your career. Yeah, you can always just keep taking jobs, and that's where we talk about that as well. You can always keep, and that's why I got to get to this presentation that I want to get to today still. But yeah, you can keep getting jobs forever, and people keep hiring you as a production assistant forever. Yeah. And nobody cares about your career as much as you do. You have to drive your career.
And
you
that's
have to
like
start turning down work and going in the direction that you want to go.
I don't know if this was like a kind of segue, but I think we were gonna get ready to start talking about body of work. Mm-hmm. Is that what we were doing?
We can go to it now.
Yeah, yes, and that didn't even, because I wasn't around when this new system that you have is in place. It looked a little different like 3 years ago. Yeah, I'm coming up on my 3 year. I think I just hit it, because it was November of 2017 that I joined. And that was like such a great thing for me to realize, because I'm so fixated on getting my 600 PA days that like I forget that, you know, and it took me a while to determine that like I actually wanted to pursue the AD route. So now I'm like, oh, if I have a gap between jobs, like I can start working as an AD on music videos or on some smaller project, just to gain that information. And I'm like, I just counted my days. I have like 317 and counting. So I'm halfway to being able to put my book in. And like, I just had a conversation with the DGA the other day. This kind of goes back to what we were just talking about. So like, I have been so scared to make this phone call, because it kind of to me, it seemed like it was sealing my fate. And I wasn't sure if the person on the other side was going to be receptive or busy or shoo me away. So I've been putting off this phone call for like a few months, I'd say. And so I finally had the courage to call them, and I called them about my name change and what would be accepted, and if I had to have the call sheet say something different, like my legal name or etc. And the person on the other end of the phone was so amazing. We had like a 20-minute phone call. We were laughing and getting along, and she answered all of my questions and beyond. And then
It's the DGA she's talking to.
the commercial DGA, which would be the first thing that I apply to, and then I have to get certain days as an AD, and then I can apply to be a first AD in the big DGA world. Because now I'm just in like this, like they call it commercial DGA, but it's just like the smaller scale where you can work as a second AD and a second AD before you move on to first. And she was like, yeah, people don't know we're here. Nobody calls me. Nobody comes and gets this information. And like, tell your friends, I'm here as a resource. Like we had a really awesome conversation. And now I'm just going to be like, hey, Kara, what's up? It's Rooney. Just reminding you I exist. Hey, how are you doing? How's your day going? Like, and so that's like another, like, that's something that I had been so fearful for. And I just took the leap and I called them because for me, my legal name and the name I prefer to go by, that's like a big deal for me. And so I wanted to make sure that I'd get credited, because imagine if they're putting Rooney on my call sheets and all of these days on this 7-month job don't count. So like I had to make this phone call because
Absolutely.
because this was important to me. So
Yeah.
you gotta just do that sometimes. I was scared for a while.
It's so funny how we all make we make a lot of things really big in our mind. Like we make it all so scary, and then when you do it, you're just like, oh, that was not a big deal.
Right.
Like, just starting this program, we make it like it's the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
How am I ever going to do it? How am I going to pay for it? And then you just get into the rhythm of it, and you're like, okay, well, I'm already half of these things I was so worried about are not a big deal.
And I
I remember
think
people on my magic list. I might be like, oh my God, they're like the gods. And what if I say the wrong thing? And then I meet them. I'm like, why was I so scared to reach out? I mean, they're just like so nice. I mean, they're just a bunch of people working.
right, exactly. And I think kind of like once you start building that confidence by having those phone calls, then like this call that I thought was going to be a huge deal, because I'm able to have conversations with people that might be higher up than I am in a casual way. Like I prepared myself for the phone call. I had my questions right down in front of me. I always have like a pen and a note, like a scratch pad, and like you just speak with confidence. Also like you speak as if this person is just working and doing their job, and like in this case, like that person's job is to help me be able to hand my book in, and also she's the one that checks it, so she wants to make sure I'm doing it right, so she doesn't have a hard time checking it. You know what I mean? Like in the end, my phone call to her actually helps her out, because if she explains it to me well, like then her job is easier. You know,
They're done right. Yeah. For sure.
But just I think like it's important to have your talking points in front of you, and you don't sit there and read them like a robot. Try and like weave them into a conversation. And we've talked about this before, of like talking with a smile, because people can hear the difference. And also like for me, it helps if I feel like I'm talking to this person as if we are friends, like not to the point of like saying anything inappropriate. Like keep it like as if you're already professional friends.
Yeah.
Like a work colleague. You're talking to a work colleague.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
All right. I still want to. I feel like I have not yet painted the picture of how simple all of this is. And I really want you guys to get this, okay? So that you see this is simple, okay? So there's all these people out there, all these shoots out there that are happening, all people just like you, same concerns, same worries, same fears, same, like everybody is out there trying to get somewhere. All these people, okay? So you need to just get on their radar. You need to just refer to them, You just need to build up some experience yourself. So they're like, oh, you're one of the good ones. How do we do that? First thing we do is magic list. Research the crap out of things so that we can talk about it. And then when you get on these free shoots, everybody's like, oh, you're great. It's just the way that it happens, because you're so researching, you know so much, and you have these little conversations with people like, oh, you're a good one. Then from these free shoots that we get on with the Get On Shoots method, people will refer you to professional work. It happens. It just happens that way. Okay. Also, you're building at the same time stuff to put in your resume, tasks to put in your resume to show that you've already done the work. And then you have a really nice resume in case somebody checks it. And then you do the background of PA method and you meet more people. Then you get on more production assistant sets. It will take off, and you'll just start getting calls, because on every shoot they need like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 production assistants. There's a lot of shoots happening out there. So all we're doing is getting on people's radars, being a good one, and getting called. And then it just keeps happening. It just snowballs, like what's happened with Rooney. Knows a lot of people. Still, she went through a time where that was a dry spell.
Yeah, for sure. And that wasn't that long ago, honestly.
It was about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like in the summertime a year ago, July. But anyway, that's besides the point. And then Rooney reached out to more people, and first Rooney freaked out
2 years ago,
and then Rooney reached out to some people, and then she got working immediately. We went in for that Mr. Robot, I think. Went in for an interview and got the job, and then was just going straight.
Yeah, and then from there it just kept going. That was I think that was in 2018, after I finished a job in April, and I only knew one person. I only knew one PA, because I was in the office all the time. Like, I was working in film, sure, but I wasn't on set. I was in the office. And from that one person, I built my empire.
Yeah. From that one person, however, you had already had a lot of shoots that you had gotten experience on.
Yeah, freebies for sure.
Yeah. And Emily says, funny how quickly it can happen when you work hard and are positive. Exactly. Yeah. So just do the methods, guys. Just do it. They just work. It just works. Yeah. Rooney's empire. Okay, so let me share my screen now, and let's go into this presentation and get into the body of work right now, okay? Just share the desktop here so you can see my desktop. All right, so we have been through talking about base, and we started talking about body of work with Rooney. Okay, just to review, but we're going to get down to this part right here very quickly. As you're creating your base, meaning you're working on set as a production assistant, you're also assisting in the departments on non-union sets to gain experience with what you want to do. Non-union sets, you can work straight in these departments right away. And if there's a particular department that you're interested, be hanging around that department so that you can help them, and you can just start basically helping them do the job. Hey, would you like me to find electricity for that charger? What else can I get for you guys? So you're anticipating what they might need, and then they're going to be like, they'll keep asking you to help them again and again. It's not enough to say, hey, can I do anything for you? And then like get busy on something else and then start working with a different department. If you want to work with that department, if you ask them, hey, can I help you guys with anything? And they say no, then don't think that that's no. That actually means that at that moment, they didn't have anything for you to help them out with. But in 10 minutes, since you asked, they may just ask you if you can, hey, can you do this? Can you find that? Actually, could you go to my van, get this? Initially, they're going to say no, and then keep hanging around, keep checking with them. And they're going to then be, as the day goes on, be like, oh yeah, could you help us out with this? Trust me, it's like always that way. It's so funny. Yeah. So keep around that department. Okay. Huge. Huge. Number 2, get on shoots for the craft. Now, this is covered in an earlier training, an earlier call, and I actually gave you guys the scripts to get experience. And Rooney is going to start doing this out there in the market. See, and FYI, everybody here, Rooney has to PA a lot because they want to become an AD, and you have to have in New York City 600 hours.
Took days.
To become an AD in Dallas doesn't take that long. You could do it in maybe 3 months. In LA, it's going to be the same as New York City. A lot to get to become an AD.
Yeah. I actually found out that my days are transferable to, like, if I were to move to LA, like, my days could transfer and build right on top of it, but depends on the budget.
DTA. That's right. And if you're in Texas and you have all these days, then you come to LA, you're going to have to qualify for the LA union. You know, it's not like if it's really lax in Dallas and you got into whatever there is there, it's not like if that's going to work for LA. You're going to have to redo it again in LA. So keep all your calls, you know, you're going to need what that, and just call the unit. If you're planning on moving, call the unit, find out what it is there so that you know, hey, I'm in Dallas, I'm, you know, working in this capacity. How are my days? Will they transfer? What do you need from me when I do decide to join? And they'll tell you everything. Just call the freaking union. No big deal. Okay, back to get on shoots for the craft. So this is where you're looking for the low budget stuff to get experience doing your craft. Okay, you've already got the base where you're working as a production assistant, director assistant, producer assistant, key PA, all these shoots. You're creating your base, you're working all the time. At the same time, you need to get experience doing what you want to do: acting, writing, directing, DPing, Steadicam, sound mixing. So how are you going to get to do that? Well, if you're working on MTV as a production assistant, you're not going to probably get the chance to do that on those shoots. And plus, the people that you're working with for MTV and Netflix, they see you as a production assistant. It's your responsibility to show them, I'm also an actor, I'm also a DP, I'm also an editor, I'm also a VO person. It's your responsibility to show them that. So how are you going to do that? Well, you can't say, oh, I have no experience, but hire me. No, that doesn't work. You have to go get the experience. So where do you go get the experience? Is you go out and you do get on shoots for the craft. Okay? And all that is finding any indication of a shoot happening and offering to work for what you do. You know? Like, if you're a production designer, hey, I see you have a shoot coming up. I saw that you're looking for a DP. I'm actually a production designer. I'd love to work on your shoot. And you could say, here's my rate. You could come right off the bat saying, I work on this show, but here's my low budget rate, and offer your services as a low budget, give them a low budget rate. Now they might be like, oh, this is actually a freebie and we can't afford you, and then negotiate with them. Well, I could do it for this amount. And you hit up a bunch of these, some of them are gonna click. And then you're able to get experience doing that craft. And then guess what happens? You go back to MTV, Netflix, and you say, oh yeah, I just worked as a production designer on a music video. Oh yeah, that's right, you're a production designer, that's right. And then these people in your base will start referring you the work. Make sense? So simple. Make these concepts simple in your mind. Make these concepts. This is very, very important, everybody. Make what I'm saying very doable in your mind. Don't let your mind go, yeah, but I don't know, and I can't do that. No, make it very simple in your mind. None of this is complicated. This is all so easy. It really is. You just have to do it. That's all. That's what I wanted to say before. I just really want you to get this.
I always just have that like Shia LaBeouf video.
But go ahead. Yes.
There's a video of Shia LaBeouf where he's just like, do it. I'm sure a lot of people in here know that. That's
Do it! Everybody seen that?
That's what I hear in my head when I'm like, and also I love the phrase like, don't should on yourself. Like, oh, I should do this, I should do that. Like, it's funny because it sounds like don't shit on yourself, but like don't should on yourself. But yeah, just keep like a little mini Shia LaBeouf in your head, and you'll be good.
Yeah. Move forward, move forward, move forward. If you get scared, go, yeah. Make it small in your head. Just put it right. Okay, that person, oh my God, I'm so nervous what if I say the wrong thing? Nah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me just do it.
Well, it's the adrenaline rush of like...
Let me just write something like that. I'll write that. Oh, you're working with somebody on set. You're like, oh my gosh, they're so busy. They're so important. I'm afraid to talk to them. And you're like, what am I doing? Okay, that's my mind going crazy. Okay, let's just push it down. Meaning, just make yourself relax about it in your head. They're working just like me. Tell yourself any version, any story that allows you to just be like, relax in your head. Oh, hey, how's your day going? Whatever. Just like just start it. Take an action on it. Say something. Hey, you guys need anything? Can I help you out? I'm so interested in our department. If you have any opportunity to teach me, I am all ears. How hard is that? You can say that, right? Oh, and then you plant the seed in their head. Oh, he's interested in camera department. Oh, okay, and they will start telling you stuff all day long. Okay, all right. So, get on Shoots for the Craft. I gave you scripts to reach out to people on Craigslist, on the Facebook, on Staff Me Up. I gave you scripts for that. And you're looking for, again, any indication of a shoot happening, but this time you're looking to work for them in a niche, and you offer to work for them in the niche. You can either say, I'm happy to work on this thing for free. It looks like it's a low budget shoot. Or you say, hey, I'm happy to work with this. I'm happy to work with this as an AD, as a production designer, as an actor for my low budget rate, which is this, for 10. Always put for 10 or for 12, because that's what professionals do. If you just say, I'm willing to work for like $100, it's like, you're not really a professional, because you would definitely put a limit on that for how many hours that would be.
Yeah.
Because that's not for like 16 hours. It would be a limit. Now, if it's a freebie shoot, everybody's working free, well then that's fine. Okay. You understand what that is. And you just say, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to volunteer. Like, let's talk about it. Okay. All right. Next, call people on your magic list. Okay. Now you've gotten some experience as what you want to do. And now there's real companies out there that hire other people right now for what you want to do, isn't there? Yes. So there's other production companies that are doing music videos. I'm talking professional stuff, not student films now. Now we're moving into the professional world and digging up work. There's news, isn't there? Yes. There's promos. There's reenactments. There's indie films. There's press junkets. There are companies out there, and they're on your magic list already, and you did not know how to contact them before, possibly. Or maybe you've been working with them as a PA, or they haven't hired you yet as a PA. Now you contact them and you ask for what you want to do. I'm also a DP. I can do data wrangling. I can do first AC work. I can do sound mixing. You contact these people. So for me, I remember this very well, contacting Mandy Rogers. Hello, my name's Janet Urban. I just moved here from Johannesburg. I got some experience working in news and documentaries, and I'm a sound mixer. I just gave myself that title. You are that thing, okay? You give it yourself that title. I'm an actor. I'm a DP. I'm an AD. Love to work with you guys at some point. I've heard a lot about you guys. I just wanted to reach out and get on your list, or give you my information so that you can hire me if you need me. And they might just need you. Here's a little script for you. Hey, I heard your company does promos. I've been working, and research them before you call them. It's great to call. Nobody calls, so that's why you should call. I heard your company does promos. I've been working as an AD on music videos and indie films. And I worked on big shows like Mr. Robot, Gotham, with many capacities from PA to key PA. So now you're naming what you want to do, you're naming what you've done, throwing out some big names there. You're going to have MTV, you're going to have Netflix, you're going to have TNT shows, you're going to have NBC. You're going to be able to name it by this point where you're in the body of work, you're going to be able to name some big stuff. I know you have the people, but I thought I'd reach out so you have my info. Okay? Every paragraph is its own subject, right? Okay. If you need second unit, music videos, now you're planting some seeds. Music video, interviews, call me. I'm looking to expand my connections with good people. Period. Period. Yes.
I'm learning too.
That's right. Well, I wrote this with you in mind. There's a ton of stuff out there that Rooney can be working on as an AD for free. Now, she may not want to work on it for free, but she should. They should, for a couple of them. Get them on the resume. Then it elevates your conversation with other second ADs.
And this would be, and I'm just saying this, I'm stating it. It's not a question. I know that this is right. But then I would start building a different resume off of my production assistant resume. For my, and this is just thinking in the future and talking this into existence because I believe in that, is that my AD resume might not start with anything and I might just have to talk about my experience, but I can make a list of the PA, the shows that I've had as a PA. To maybe for the first couple of gigs, I would send my PA resume. And then as I start to gain AD experience in this, indie world, then I can start putting that, and then maybe my union production assistant jobs I can put into a smaller column so that they're just look at all the shows I've worked on, and maybe not make it so big and just keep to the bigger ones or the ones that I've worked on for a longer period of time. Because if I worked 1 day on the Blacklist, I'm not going to put that on my resume. I'm not going to put that. I need to keep I keep it on the list of jobs that I've worked in total because to make sure I get a W-2 from them at the end of the
Well, I just want to add on to that. Yes. And when you're putting together a second AD resume with the purpose of getting more second AD work in the indie, promo, music video land area, they really are not looking at did she work on the entire show for Blacklist or not? They could care less. They're just oh, is Rooney a great person to work with? Does she get it? That's it. So if you have a big name and you're I only did a couple days on it, for that resume, you can put it on there because it's a different thing. They're not going to be contacting anybody from any of those shows to find out, how many days did you work on that show?
Yeah, that's true. And for that,
I worked for National Geographic 1 day. It's on my resume for sure. I've done that and I did, so it's on there. And even if it was 3 years ago, it's on there with no dates. Who gives a crap? They just want to know, guys. They just want to know, this is a good person to work with. So it's your job to craft that resume to show that you're a good person to work with. And yeah, like Rooney's saying, initially a lot of the AD, you're going to take the PA experience, but you're going to maybe kind of formulate a little bit to show AD tasks, worked with the background, did the paperwork for background. So AD kind of functions, helped with the schedule, things like that. So,
yeah, and also I've run a small B unit on jobs or on a job specifically.
That'd be right on top.
Oh yeah.
Work AD B unit on major shows, and then listen.
Yeah, and my boss would just send me by myself. It was just me, the walkie PA, and one person from every department, and the camera, and we would just do insert shots. AD'd
insert shots on major on this show, this show. That's perfect. So as you're working as an AD, or as you're working as a production assistant, be thinking about what you're doing for the job that you want to do, that you can put it in that light on your resume. again, it's not like you're cold sending out your resume. It's like you're contacting people with the get on shoots method with this one here. Oh, that's a different one actually. Yeah, I need to come back here. Yeah, I was thinking get on shoots. How's your resume going to be used? When you're looking at gaining experience doing that craft, you'll formulate your resume to show that you have got some experience as that craft for get on shoots, and then you'll do the same thing for all this work actually. So, but when you're calling people on your magic list, you are calling cold, but it's different now. Now you have a lot of experience and confidence, don't you? And you know you're good. And you do have a good resume. And they would like to know who you are. And maybe you've heard about them, you've referred them, you've watched all their shows. It's a lot different. Okay? Reach out to professionals at a similar level. Everybody's trying to read this, I can tell. You're like, oh, what are these? Reach out to professionals at a similar level who share your passion, ask questions, share resources, and find their direction where they want to go in their career and collaborate. Basically, make friends with peers. Make friends with peers. See, you always have the opportunity to do this, but until we plant the seed, you may not think about it. That's all, you know? So, like, reaching out to and having conversations intentionally with ADs on set and finding out, hey, do you also AD any non-union stuff? Do you AD music videos? Have you ever AD'd a corporate video? What are some stuff that you've done outside the TV world? I'm talking to Rooney here, but, you know, looking to have conversations with ADs out there that are peers to find out what they're doing in the non-union world. And you might find that they are only thinking about TV shows as well for Rooney's situation. That'll be some of them, but some of them will also be out there in the non-union world because they're smart, building their experience, ADing, where they're the first AD on a big union show. Or where they're the first AD on a small non-union.
Yeah, we won't jump right into the big stuff.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, so let me just say that again so that it's really clear. Always be thinking about who are the people that are doing the kind of work that you want to do that are peers, and how can you develop relationships with those people. It can be on a Facebook group. Hey guys, you know, I'm a newer AD out here and had this situation happening. What have some of you more experienced people, how did you handle this situation? Or does anybody know about the change in paperwork that's happening right now? Or anybody know how this law affects things right now? You know, be establishing relationships with peers that are doing the same job that you are doing. That's what I did. And it's so good because those people will send you work in the future. And you got to think about this many touch points that you're creating in your career. You initially just touch and have a little conversation with somebody. 3 months later, another little touch point again with them. Maybe it's on Facebook group, maybe it's on set, maybe it's like you're on one set and they're on another set and you go meet them, you know. But all little touch points are very, very important. And then there comes a time where they're like, hey, I'm booked on that day. Who can I refer? Oh, I can refer Rooney. She's awesome. You know, I love her. She's so nice. And she's looking to break into the lower budget stuff.
Yeah.
So you're developing relationship over time.
And I already had, like, I worked as a key PA on, like, a lower budget. And this was when I didn't have as much, like, union job PA experience, like the big stuff. So, like, I have all those people. I'm friends with them on Facebook. I have their numbers as long as they haven't changed their numbers in the last, year. But if I was looking to get into, like, indie world, like we worked on a movie, I could contact them.
Yeah. And you can.
And I have PAs from that job too. Like, I keep in touch with them every now and then. Maybe twice a year, I'm just like, hey, what are you up to? Or like, even on Instagram is such a good way to keep in touch with people, and like, because I'll see the PA that I worked with that was like awesome, and like she's still doing indie stuff, and like I'll see her in a picture on like on her story with somebody that I know, and so that gives me the incentive to be like, oh my god, how do you know Jimmy Chapstick? Like, I know them too. I worked with him on this, and then like that's a good way to catch up. Yep. And that's catching up without having an agenda of like, get me a job.
Yeah. So you're working your magic list. All the people that you've worked with, that you've met with in the past, all the people that you're meeting, they all go on your magic list, and you check their profiles, and you keep in touch, and you reach out, and you say hey, and you let them know when you're making the move from PA to what you're doing, and then you keep PAing and you keep working on your new job at the same time until that craft that you're working on now takes off, and that's all that you do. Okay, so this is really big. This is huge. This is really how I broke into commercials. It was through other sound mixers is how I broke into commercials, by making relationships with other sound mixers that referred me work, and then I would send them work. Now, how do they know that you're good? By the questions you ask, by the way that you are, the way that how those phone calls go. It's very, very simple. That's how they know that you're good. Number 5 is self-producing your own films with other professionals. This is a great thing to do. Sparkman will talk about this. Sparkman is going to come on one of our calls sometime soon, probably in January, because she's going crazy with the agencies right now. They're very busy, but maybe in January.
I feel like I keep missing Sparkman on jobs. Like, we're always like, I haven't met Sparkman yet, but I think I was going through the modules the other day. And she worked on Blacklist, like all New York shows that I've either gotten on like a later season, or I feel like we always just miss each other. But it'll happen,
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely. Friends in film, we meet each other.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely run into a bunch of people.
Okay. But self-producing, you're like, I'm going to produce my own thing. This gives you a lot of fuel, because you have done something that most people don't do. This is how Sparkman moved into this $75,000 producing job for an agency, because they're like, we love that you produced your own film, and now it's on Amazon Prime. I watched it. It's really good. They're like, we love that you did that. So I really think you cannot go wrong by doing your own projects. But you don't have to. I've never self-produced anything. So, don't be like, oh, no, I got to do that too. No, you can work on other people's stuff. Other professionals, ask them, hey, what do you got going on? You got anything happening this weekend? Got anything coming up this month? You're going to be producing anything? And work on their stuff. Help them out. Okay. Now, let's talk about brand. Brand is you doing your craft in the sector that you want to be in. So my brand for my first year was sound mixer for National Geographic. That's what I want to become known for. And all of my efforts on set, all my conversations was to dig out people that work for National Geographic. All my production companies, hey, who are the ones that do National Geographic? Who are the people that are doing Geographic? I want to make friends with them. Who they are, become their friends on Facebook, ask questions. Get experience that I can say, I have experience in this craft that, will make me good, so that you guys can hire me for Geographic. And I went to film festivals, and I talked to the production companies that were on my magic list, made friends with them, and then reached out back to them and said, I've been working on this, and this. If you guys have something coming up, I'd love to work with you. And they had met me already. Okay, they saw my face, they met me. Then when I reached back out to them, they're like, oh, and she's experienced, and she's reaching out to me, and we have a project. Yeah, well, why not give it to her? And then I'm working in my craft and what I want to do. And my resume, my profile, my signature, my Instagram, everything is set up and aligned with Sound Mixer for National Geographic, Sound Mixer for nature stuff. It's all that. This will happen really so fast. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised because you got this big base of people that you work with that love you. Then you get the body of work going, and then so you got stuff to talk about. And then these people are like, oh yeah, you're actually doing it. And then they start hiring you for that. And then you got a huge magic list of people. Let people know what shows that you've worked on and who you've been working with. Just keep in touch with people, you know? They're interested. They know you as a production assistant. And now you've been out there working, and now you're actually getting calls. Let them know. Hey, you guys, I'm so excited. I'm finally making a lot of headway working in this craft. And that will give them the permission. You're planting the seed. Bing. Okay, I need a sound mixer. Oh, Jaren. Or bing, I need a second AD. But, you know, they will contact you. This is, again, this is easy. It really is like naturally, like this is how it would happen. This is not difficult, guys. It's just like, it all makes sense. It's all like common sense here.
I think it's important also to remember that this is like a step-by-step process. It's not just like, you know, I think hearing all the information, it sounds like it's a lot, but like, you have to expect that it's not going to happen overnight. Like, I'm 2.5 years in the business, and like I'm still working on some of this stuff. Like, it takes time, but as long as you keep moving forward and don't let yourself fall backwards, like that's important. Like, and I know that it's hard to like
let everybody know though, so that they don't think that their path is going to be like yours.
Totally.
Your path is very long, and you're paying for a long freaking time because you want to be an AD on TV shows.
Right.
That, I mean, there is really no longer path than that.
Great.
And there's also no other way to become an AD on TV shows and feature films,
right.
a DGA AD, than what Rooney's doing. So if that's not your goal, and that's the only one really that is that long, then you can be working on non-union stuff like within a couple months and be doing this whole thing like within a year. So fast. So yeah,
some of you guys will be ahead of me by the time I get to. I said like some of them will be ahead of me by the time I get to where I'm going.
Well, it's hard to say, really, because there's so many different ways to look at that. You know, I mean, you're working on major freaking TV shows, making relationships with thousands of people that know you, that will hire you as an AD on the biggest stuff there is in the world. I mean that is like huge. It's huge. And working on National Geographic or smaller music videos, I mean, doing that and making the $800 a day and filling your schedule with that, but you have no connections in the TV world. I mean, they're just different, you know?
True.
It depends on what your goal is, but the goal of AD is on TV shows. Oh, that's a big one, and it requires a lot of days, and there's no other way to get there. And you're doing it. You're successfully doing it, and you are going to be in like maybe a year and a half, working, be in the DGA, have a ton of connections, and you're going to be working your fucking ass off as much as you can. And you're going to have to be working on your stress relief, because ADs it's a high pressure job.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to be really focusing on that.
Yeah.
But you can do that because you're smart, and you will be thinking about that. Okay, let's finish this off a little bit here, you guys. Okay. So, then step number 3, reach out to peers to send them work. Okay, so this is where I'm developing these relationships. I'm just starting here. Now I'm sending them work. Because I'm a sound mixer, they're a sound mixer. I'm a DP, they're a DP. I'm sending them work. I'm renting gear from them. I'm sharing people that are really good with them, sharing names. Yep. This is when you're working entirely for what you want to do. And this can happen so fast on non-union stuff. Then you take a leadership position. Even though you might be only doing it for a couple years, you have a lot to learn. Leadership, you could take a leadership position. The other people that are maybe doing it for 20 years, they're over it. They don't want to do that. They don't have the energy. They're focusing on their family, whatever. So you take that leadership position. You're hungry. That's a really good idea. Okay. There you go. There's the path. Okay, well, great call. Thank you so much, Rooney. You're just a light to us. You give so much, you care so much, and you're here for us. We really feel supported by you.
Thank you.
Yes. You're so
like,
freaking inspiring, Rooney.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in this program too, when I first started, like, it was just that community on Yammer that, like, kept me going, because there I could post, like, my achievements and even some of my not so hot moments, but like the whole, like, everybody was there to support. Like, that's what really kept me going, honestly. And I think that's why, you know, back in 2014 I didn't get to where I was because I didn't have that backing. Like, this is just such an amazing support system.
Before Friends in Film.
Yeah, Janet, that you've built, that's, like, it's remarkable, you know. And it really, like, if it wasn't for Friends in Film, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And if it wasn't from the encouragement of all the peers that you've brought together in this, you know, in this, like, this amazing program that, like, just, you know, you want to see all of us succeed. And like, we, like, I know that, like, at least when I was coming up in Friends in Film, like, everybody was really supportive and everybody else wanted to see everyone succeed, which I think is so inspiring and encouraging.
Yeah.
So post on Yammer, like, post all the stuff that you're going through, because, like, you never know who's going to have that little bit of information that could help you.
Yeah. This is really quite simple. It really is. And make it simple in your mind. Bunch of shoots out there, bunch of people working. Just need to get on some stuff, meet those people, get referred to those people, and build it from there. That's what Rooney did. She's got thousands of connections now. And when they started, it was maybe just a couple, and it grew and grew and grew and grew. So
now I'm on some next level stuff, and you guys will get there too if you just keep following your dream, you know?
Yeah.
Keep doing what you love.
Thank you for your great comments, everybody. If there was any comments, because sometimes I'm really trying to stay on the conversation, and things come up like, what's this, what's that? Hopefully that we've been answering these in the chat, but if you still have a burning question, you're like, I didn't get one answered, just email me or post it in Yammer.
Post it in Yammer, and
Yammer's the best, because then
you can tag me, because I get notifications, so I'll see it.
Isn't that great?
Technology.
No, it's so great. Okay, thanks everybody. I gotta check on Friday to see if Friday's happening with the acting, but we'll see. But Monday for you, and I will be in touch.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh my God, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.